I was going to go. I applied for Prairie. I wasn't the lucky one that got accepted. So I ended up, my dad, this was before, so it was either CBC or DeSmet. And that was back when CBC was at their other location, their original location. Was that off Skinker or something like that?
Right.
And so my dad says, well, where do you want to go? And I was big into soccer. So it was those two schools. That was my choice, and said, well, and I was leaning towards CBC in the beginning, and my dad said, well, that's kind of far. He goes, I tell you what, you go to DeSmet when you turn 16, I'll get you a car. If you go to CBC, then you got to find a ride. I said, all right, I'm going to DeSmet then.
And maybe the lucky one was the one that went to DeSmet.
Yeah, right. Right.
All right, we jumped into this one. It's a St. Louis 7 as I look at the camera following an episode on OT with Oliver with Paul Manno Jr., everybody's favorite West County restaurant. If you haven't been, you should. And if you haven't been, then maybe it will become your favorite restaurant. We had a lot of fun talking about his life in the restaurant business, his dad coming over, how everything started there. I enjoyed it. We walked through it, touched a little bit about some stuff maybe that wasn't as important as what we talked about with the restaurant, but I enjoyed it very much.
I loved it.
Yeah, it was a good time. Hey, before we get away and do the St. Louis 7, we talked about leading into this episode, what's going on in New Orleans, what's going on in Louisiana, and how people, there's a lot of important things going on that people need to pray for, but maybe this is a good time to take a moment and pause for what's going on down there.
Yeah, absolutely. They need some prayers right now. So hopefully it's not as bad as they're predicting. But down there, it's you never know. They've seen it before, and hopefully this one doesn't do the damage that the others have done.
All right, so St. Louis 7. Your dad bribed you with car. You went to the Smet. What do you remember about being a Spartan?
Greatest 4 years I can remember. That was the most unbelievable experience. Taught me so much. I mean, not how to be a man, but yeah, your dad teaches how to be, but being a man in a different way. That school, those teachers, and back then when I went, it was, you could be a little more firm with the kids, let's put it that way. And I needed that. I wasn't a wild kid, but I had my things, and I was put in my place quickly and taught quickly what to do and what not to do. And so back then, when you're going through that, yeah, you don't like anybody. Oh, it's like, oh, I hate this, I hate that. Now, when you think about it, going back, best thing that could ever happen to me. That school was unbelievable.
Favorite concert growing up?
I wasn't a concert guy. I never went to concerts. In fact, my first concert that I ever went to was the Harry Connick Jr. one that we talked about earlier. That was the first one that I ever went to, and I had tickets for that. And then shortly after that, Sinatra was coming into town, and my dad, he gave me a little guilt trip. He said, "Well, you taking off that weekend? No, you're taking off this weekend. We work the weekends. You can't just take off." I'm like, okay, well, is their anniversary? And I didn't know what to get him, so I gave him those tickets for Sinatra. I'm like, so I went to go see Harry Connick Jr., where half the audience got up and left, right. And I missed out on Frank Sinatra, not idol, but whatever. So
although you learned the lesson of passive aggressiveness working to your favor.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
All right, when you go to Ted Drew's, what do you order?
Ted Drew's, I get the tiramisu.
Nice. Gonna ask you to brag on yourself. When people ask you why Paul Manno's is as special and different as it is, what do you say?
The food and the people that work with me, and the atmosphere. I'd say those three things, what makes us different.
Coming out of COVID, what's a lesson we learned that we're going to take with us moving forward?
In the restaurant business?
Yeah.
The lesson that we learned was we've been really, I don't know if we've ever felt as appreciated as we do now as restaurant people.
Good.
Just the kindness, and the love and the generosity that people showed us. It was crazy how blessed we were. In a lot of places all over the world were blessed like that you just show, you saw the appreciation, and the level of care that people had for you, the workers, the restaurant, and it was unbelievable.
Good
So
answer.
Hopefully that continues.
You know what?
And I know it will.
I think it's going to. At
Yeah,
least for people
absolutely.
our age, maybe not for our kids, because we don't remember what our folks.
Yeah.
But for us,
No.
I know.
Yeah.
My friends are gonna laugh. I know I tip more now. I
Yeah.
know I'm more
that.
conscious of what other people couldn't do for the last year and a half, and how much I miss them. And I don't go out a lot, man. I like you. I got the kids. We got college. We got stuff going on. But when I do go out, it's more of something that's on my radar as opposed to before, where it used to be just, okay, let's go ahead and go out. Now I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything you just said, I agree.
All right. People come and visit you, Paul. Where do you take them?
Out of town people, take them to the Arch for sure. Take them to the zoo. We have one of the best zoos in the world, and it's still free. Where else do I take them? If there's a game in town, try to take them to either a hockey game or a baseball game, so they can experience, because here in St. Louis, hockey and baseball, it's unlike, I don't think, any other city around. So it's a unique experience.
Hey, Mr. Food Guy, have you been to the Foundry yet?
Yes, I went yesterday.
Isn't that fun? This is a free plug, by the way. I'm not making a dime on this.
Yeah,
Isn't
no, fantastic. We went to IKEA to buy something, I don't know, or in the morning. And so I said, oh, well, let's go to the Foundry and check it out. See, it's great. I hope it fills up. I know there's a lot of empty spaces that need to be filled. But the concept's great. The look of it is great. They did a great job with everything. It looks great. And well, unfortunately, I didn't get to eat anything. We got there at like 11 o'clock, and I think the couple places that I wanted to try they don't open till 11:30. So we just left, but hit Chick-fil-A on the way home. But yeah, no, we walked around that, and that whole area is looking great.
You know, it's going to become, and they're going to bring in movie theaters and do some things, but in my head right now, it's a double team with the aquarium. You go to the aquarium, and then you head over there for a late lunch.
Yeah, and not too far from that, maybe they'll get some carryover from the soccer game, MLS,
Right.
Because that's not that far away. So hopefully that'll help out too. I think it's great. I hope it does fantastic. I wish it nothing but the best.
And save some room for dinner at Paul Manno's.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so as we get ready to wrap this up again, got a lot of 100 St. Louis Sevens on the YouTube channel OT with Oliver. If you've enjoyed this or you want to check out other ones, we've had in the restaurant tour business, we've had Anthony Bonarito, we've had Gus's Pretzels, we've had Andy Candy, had some other people that you might enjoy. If you want to hear the podcast in its entirety and hear Harry Connick's concert and hear about the other things we talked about, that's on wherever you get your podcast, OT with Oliver. Paul, really appreciated it. Here's how we end every St. Louis 7. What makes you proud to be a St. Louis?
The people in this town, they're great people. That's the biggest thing. We have some great people in this town.
Keep doing what you're doing, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate everything. Thank you for having me on.
All right. Nobody got hurt.